Hey everybody, how's it going? Rob Kozler here from Model Dirt Bikes again. Today we're going to show you how to remove your KTM shock spring off of the WP PDS, which is the linkage less bike. So it's going to be pretty easy, just a few simple tools to do so. So actually most of what you need is really included right here in your KTM factory toolkit. We're going to be using the spanner wrench here, or if you have an aftermarket one, that's great too. We could use that. And then other than that, we're just going to use a 4mm Allen wrench right there. So, I mean, it would be best if you had a vise to put this in. That would be ultimately, work the best for you. If you don't have some tricky machine jaws like this to hold the reservoir in, you could just take and go right here with the eyelet and just go like that. We're going to show you like that just because that's probably how you're going to do it at home. It's going to be really useful for you to have this information if you want to swap out a softer or heavier spring, or if you want to send it in for revalving or lowering work. You save yourself some money on shipping with leaving the spring out. So what we're going to do first and foremost is actually measure the amount of preload on there, because if you already have your sag set, you don't want to screw that up, and you want to be back in the ballpark when you put it back together. So let's take a measuring tape. Doesn't matter, measure it in metric or standard. Get yourself a baseline, measure from a nice flat area to a flat area on the spring. So right here we're at 246 millimeters. So let's just go ahead and record that, and then that's what you're going to put your spring back to when you put it back together if you get it back from revalving. So that's cool, we got that number recorded. So let's go ahead and what we're going to do first is break this 4mm Allen wrench, for the locking collar right there. Now it's kind of hanging out there nice and freely. And then a nice little tip here would be to take and put a little bit of WD-40 or whatever kind of penetrating lube down there, because sometimes this plastic collar has a tendency to want to stick to this aluminum body. So we go ahead and do that. I've already done that. So let's let's grab our factory KTM toolkit here. It's got the little spanner wrench, right? So now remember, we're going to go counterclockwise, break this loose here. So sometimes you can get lucky and use your left hand to help spin the spring. I don't know if you can see in there what we're doing. Just taking that little hook and spinning the collar. And then once it gets loose to a point, you could actually just help it along with your hand. Now we're going to continue to do that until you have some slack. See how we're getting some slack there? What we want to do is expose, so you'll slide down that collar. There's this little snap ring right here. So you want to take and just use your fingers, peel it up, clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever floats your boat there. Pull off the collar, and then there's going to be a little washer here. You can just actually slide the whole thing right off. So that's all there is to it. It's really simple. Just take your time and use this video for reference. And obviously when you when you go to reinstall your spring, same steps. We'll just take and slide her on, washer, collar, snap ring. And you could start it on one side with your thumb and hold it there and then work it around. I like to go counterclockwise just because that's me. Lift it up like that, make sure it stays in place, and then go ahead and put some tension on there, and then use your spanner wrench and then measure between those same 2 points before, and then this way you'll have the same amount of preload on there. Generally you're looking at about 5 to 8 millimeters of spring preload will get you in the ballpark if the spring rate is in the ballpark for the weight of the rider. So yeah, hope this was good informative video for you guys, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.